justice for all. Okay. Well, we have a momentous meeting ahead of us tonight. As members will know, and as our many loyal viewers will know, this is our first meeting without Chairman Baum in roughly 27 years. He was not technically our zoning board chairman. He's of course been absent from time to time, but tonight is the first of our meetings without him entirely, and I want to say again how much I appreciate his many years of service to the village, and say to all of us, we have quite a standard to live up to, both in light of Paul's service and that of many distinguished members who have gone before us. So let's see if we can live up to the extraordinary standard that they have set. I think they have made the board something that the village can be proud of, and we want to ensure that that continues. I have one other bit of business here at the beginning of our meeting, and that is, whoops, let me adjust my mic, and I encourage everybody else to do so too. We also have an appointment, well, I guess two appointments to acknowledge. The first appointment is mine. The Board of Trustees has chosen to appoint me as your chairman for the next year. So, well, I don't know about that.
Better you than not.
So you are stuck with me in this capacity for at least a little while. And in other news, I will read this other appointment to you. Resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby accepts the recommendation of the chairman of the Zoning Board of Appeals and appoints John Benrose, currently serving as an alternate member, to a full member position on the Zoning Board of Appeals to fill the vacancy created by the departure of Paul Baum for a term commencing April 1st, 2026 and expiring March 31st, 2031. On a motion of Trustee Behringer, seconded by Trustee Pfeiffer, and ayes Trustees Behringer, Carl, Mancuso, Pfeiffer, and nays none. So congratulations to John Benrose. He could not be with us here tonight. I did break the news to him by email, and perhaps he's at home recovering. But that is our other important appointment of the for today's meeting. Okay, on to some business. Our first case to look at for the evening was to have been 15 Park Avenue. Amended application of Abraham Levy on behalf of 15 Park Avenue, LLC, for area variances from Fire Law Section 224 1B to permit construction of a single-family dwelling which will exceed the maximum floor area ratio by 950 square feet, 1,550 square foot maximum permitted, and 2,500 square foot proposed. We have been in contact with Mr. Mayor, the attorney who is representing Mr. Levy, and Mr. Mayor has requested that we push the case on to our May meeting, in as much as we do not have 5 members to vote on the decision for the case this evening. I myself am recused from this case. That means we would only have 4 members to vote on the case, and Mr. Mayor would prefer a full board, as he has explained to us previously, and of course that is his right according to our custom, and he wants to stick to that. However, It is also true that Mr. Levy has been waiting for a decision in his case for quite some time. It has been on our agenda for a good long time, and though we are making our very best efforts to get everyone here, it has proven to be difficult to do so. And of course, it's more difficult given the fact that now we are 6 members rather than 7, at least for a time. But even did we get a second alternate appointed, that person would not have heard the evidence in the case and so couldn't really participate in a vote. So we are faced with the difficulty that we must get everyone out in order to decide this matter. And so I ask my fellow members, what can we do for Mr. Levy and for Mr. Meyer? Does anyone have any ideas about how we can get a complete board to resolve this case? Yeah, take it away, Dan.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I just want to make sure I'm aware. We voted on this already, though, didn't we? We just didn't put it into a decision, a final decision. We definitely did put it to a vote, and we all voted on it, right? Am I wrong?
There was a motion. The motion was not agreed to. And then there was a proposal to allow the applicant to make an amended proposal, which they have done. And that is the decision that is before you, I think.
Okay, so he provided all the paperwork that we requested?
They did. They provided, and you yourself, I think, pointed out to them that they needed plans that showed the deck,
Right.
which they did provide.
But more than just a site plan, like the full plans, I got you.
So that's where we are.
Okay, because I think one of the issues was also a floor area issue, right? Not just the
Indeed.
footprint. So that would include house plans too, correct?
Well, I mean,
Or at least a number, right? A new
yeah,
number.
that's right. I think they do in fact have a new number that they have proposed. But this is something for Mr. Mayor to. This is something for you to discuss with Mr. Mayor. I think.
No, I just
My
want to make
question.
sure that they submitted it, is what I'm asking.
Yeah,
was
that
I
is-
just want to make sure it's submitted. So we can discuss.
Indeed, they have done.
Okay.
So now the question is, what can we do to get ourselves together and hear Mr. Mayor's
I think
presentation?
I think we're doing what we always have been able to do. Like at worst, we've always had one. At worst, we've had one short member, always enough to vote. We have a quorum, but again, we leave it up to the applicant
Yep.
for having a choice if he wishes to have
Yeah.
a full board.
Yeah.
So it's not really on us because we never did not have a quorum. We've always had a quorum. We've always been able to vote. We do our best to get here. You know, there's a reason why we have alternates. You know, this is not our full-time jobs for everybody, and we do our best to get here and
Yeah.
and assess everything.
Mm-hmm.
So if he chooses, when we have a quorum, if he chooses to wait for a full board, you know, in the last few applicants, I mean,
Yeah.
the day that we voted on it, he had a full board. You know, but he chose to amend it and change it. You know, again, he's making these choices.
Yeah.
It's not us continuing
Well,
it for him. We're doing our best to work
It's
with
true
him.
that this is a special circumstance
We're doing our
because
best, I think.
Mr. Levy's application is with us at a time when we are not at full strength at the moment. So that, you know, and that shouldn't be the case forever. And so it's
No.
not as if we have a systemic problem.
So
But
we're just doing the best that we can, and we're
It's
going
true.
to try to take
I-
care of everything when we.
I just thought that perhaps we could explore some avenue to finding a date that is more,
Well, if we were to offer an alternate date, it would require more than just the next meeting to. We have to give at least how much notice do we have to do for a new date if we wanted to have a supplemental meeting or something? We'd need more than a month notice, right? We'd have to advertise it. We'd have to.
I think a special meeting, you
Right.
only have to have, 5 days. It has to
Yeah.
be listed for 5
You
days
need
before.
more. You only need 5 days for a special meeting.
Yeah.
mhm.
Okay.
So
We
we
could
could-
allow it to go in the paper too, so it's,
Yeah.
should allow 10 days altogether.
we could consider a special meeting. I was thinking that we could adjust our calendar such that we had an upcoming meeting on a day when everyone was committed to being available.
That's a
But
good
that would
idea.
be, but that would, so you'd mean cancel one of the meetings and change it to another day.
That's what I mean. Now,
Can
that
we
would
do
mean,
that?
of
Can we
course,
Cancel a meeting that we already had on the books on the calendar.
You've
for
already
the year?
canceled meetings, yeah.
Like, completely and just move it to another day?
As long as you, if you're doing that type of an action, I would not suggest you do a 5-day notice. I would
Right.
just do, if the board does it by, let's say, just for the sake of argument, you did it right now, tonight, in April. You could schedule it without any hesitation for May.
'Cause of
To
30
reschedule.
days.
So I'm just using that as a hypothetical, but that's what I would do is reschedule that following month's meeting. So there's no question whatsoever of
Yeah.
giving a
Yeah.
haircut to the time needed.
That makes sense, that's what I was feeling.
Now, of course, the limiting factor is that the room is not always available, right? So we would need to come up with some dates that look right for us and check it against, the village calendar and make sure that we've got a date that might suit
Well, let's
the village as well.
ask this question. Right today, does anybody know that they cannot make next meeting? I mean, do we know that far in advance that we're not gonna be able to make it, or?
I expect to be available for the next meeting,
Right,
He's not gonna be able to attend that.
but that doesn't help you for that
Exactly, we've only
case.
got the 4 people.
Right.
What
That's what I'm
about
saying.
all of you?
So
Is
all
it,
of us.
I'm good for next
I'm
meeting.
good for next, so as it stands today, unless something pops up, I stand,
Okay.
I'm
I
good
mean,
for it.
I don't know what the advantage would be, but why don't we have a very intimate conversation with the applicant that he is so far removed from reality?
You mean
even
like
on
a
his-
workshop meeting?
Yeah, kind of like, maybe you want to get a pen to paper again, because this has been going on for a year, 2 years. And basically what his initial reason to build a
but
larger
Jim, we don't,
property-
it's not about getting into the case now. It's about finding a time when we can
I understand that, but I really
get a
think we should-
decision
we
on
might
the,
be better
on the
off,
applicant's
rather than-
application.
Rather than changing everybody's schedule, telling the lawyer, look, the temperature of what, it doesn't look good.
I don't, well, I don't know anything about temperatures. I think we owe them a decision. And I wanna-
I'm good with keeping the meeting in.
Yeah, I think he wants to just make
This
sure
this
that
is
the next
bullshit.
meeting
He
ahead.
called this ball shopping in my old job.
Well, we call it workshopping.
Yeah,
Because
it's- I mean,
I've been on the applicant side many times all over
Yeah,
Well,
Rockland County,
he
so
was
I know what
originally
that
doing the
means.
construction for his sick
I
mother.
think what John wants to just make sure is that the next meeting, we can all be here so the guy
Yeah.
doesn't have an excuse to
Well,
postpone it again.
or I'm ready to
Yes,
to move the
move it
meeting
on.
date if that
If we
would
couldn't make it.
ensure that we could get everyone together.
However, there's one person here we don't know.
We
if he's
need
gonna
to,
be
we need to
there.
check in with John.
Right,
So
so-
I will do that. So let's say that we're going to do our very best to have everybody here in May, and we can revisit special measures if that does not come together for us. Is everybody okay with that?
Sure.
And is it the case that everyone expects to be available? Larry, you too?
Yes.
Okay, for May. So at the moment, everything looks good for the 4 of you. That's an awfully good start.
Yeah, May 12th.
Okay, then I think that's, for the moment, what we can say about the 15 Park case. We'll see what we can do.
So, motion to adjourn it for the next meeting? I'll make a motion to adjourn it to the next meeting.
Thank you, Dan. Do I hear a second? Thank you, Jim. Okay, all in favor?
Sorry.
Aye.
Okay. Mark, did you have something?
So it's not a legal comment, it's more of my experience. This board is always under a microscope of creating precedent,
Yes.
right? And my experience has been, first of all, I applaud your effort to try to have a very frank and candid discussion regarding this application with the applicant. I have found boards have more success in not in adding a special meeting for one application rather than moving an already scheduled meeting. I just throw that out there for context, but 'cause if you do that for one
Just to be
applica-
clear,
Yeah.
if we were to take special measures, you would endorse a special date on the calendar.
Correct.
Yeah,
By addition.
rather than an adjustment to the calendar.
Actually, this
Correct.
is something that was
Okay.
discussed with Paul, and I think it was before you joined the board. We talked about how, because Paul and I were both from Rockland County, and Paul used to be the lawyer for the Airmont board. And there was whenever it was so busy that the regular meetings couldn't be made, they always had, plans for, instead of every 4 weeks, every
Yeah.
2 week meet.
Yeah.
And so that was always an option, and we always talked about that. If we ever needed to do that,
Yeah.
we just announced it at the previous meeting that we'd have a
Well,
supplemental meeting.
I think
So
if things do not come together for May, then we should revisit this notion of doing
But it usually
something.
wasn't for like, just because it wasn't a full board, it's usually because,
I'm not
progress.
I'm not too concerned about what it was for then. I'm talking about taking some measures to get a decision for Mr. Levy on this long-running application. And so let's get ourselves together in May if we can.
Yeah, I don't think we need
And
a sooner.
failing
meeting.
that, then we return to this and see if there isn't something unusual we can do to move this case to conclusion. Okay. This one we will move to our May calendar. Item number 3, we have a public hearing before us for 581 Route 17M, an application for an area variance from 234H3 of the Village Code to permit a dumpster enclosure within a required setback. The property is located in the General Business Zoning District and is identified as Tax Map 200-516-312 on the Town of Monroe Tax Map and is known as 581 Route 17M. And we have a representative of, I believe, the engineering firm attached to the project.
Chair?
Avi Weinberg of Weinberg Engineering,
Weinberg Lim Engineering.
Weinberg Limited Engineering.
Lim.
Lim.
My partner, Justin Lim.
I couldn't hear you because there was very loud folding.
I heard the same thing as you,
taking
by the way.
place.
Yes.
Chair, is there any way we can turn these screens on so that we can put the application up there? Thank you.
Yeah.
Just to give you a little bit of an introduction about my firm, you mentioned you're from Rockland County. I don't know if you're familiar with the firm Leonard Jackson Associates.
Very familiar with Leonard Jackson.
So Leonard recently retired. Me and my partner both worked for him. We started up our own firm, took over his projects.
Oh,
And
I
that's-
don't know if you're familiar with Youngblood Associates before they went out. I used to work for Youngblood for years.
Oh, sure. So you know Mike Kessler?
Yes.
He works for us now.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay, so Avi,
Crew.
Yes.
take it away. Tell us about your project and the variance that you're seeking in support of it.
If we could just get let's get it, on the
I
screen.
think maybe you're going to have to get started without
Yeah,
that,
sure.
and if
I
we.
think it's the remote that they need to switch inputs right now. The
Okay,
remote.
well, I'm sure many of you have seen the plans. I will just start
We
talking.
have.
Yeah, so 581 Route 17M. It's an existing two-building site. Ground floor is retail, top floor is offices. The applicant is seeking to construct an additional approximately 14,000 square foot office building in the rear. When I say an additional building, it will be sharing a party wall with the rear building, but we've been calling it a separate building. We have gone through the plan.
Attached building.
An attachment, yes. In addition, as village, as dictated by Village of Monroe Code, he is seeking to convert the existing building to commercial condominiums. So because of that, we're actually also seeking subdivision approval. We have spent a lot of time going back and forth with the planning board to really pin down. I'm sure many of you have seen this site. I'm sure all of you have seen this site. What you basically have now are these two buildings and just a sea of pavement. We are actually proposing to add some landscaping, clean up the parking lot, make it nice, striping, bunch of landscaped islands. We've added landscaping along the perimeter. We've addressed circulation to make sure emergency vehicles, garbage trucks could all have, access to wherever they need to be. One issue we did have, and this was noticed probably halfway through the planning process, is there is an existing dumpster that is literally touching the property line and in a terrible location. We've actually moved it to a new enclosure, we've actually, we're proposing a new enclosure surrounded by landscaping and a wall sign that will look nice. But then we realized there's an issue that you are not allowed to have a dumpster in a setback, in a required setback. Now, I should point out again, you could kind of argue this is an existing non-conforming item, although it's not in the same location we are proposing moving it. and improving it. But as part of this, we do need a variance.
So right now, I believe it's up against the property line where on the opposite side of that property line is an access road to the rear property, correct?
Yes,
So
yes,
it's gonna be moved to a corner where it'll be abutting another property
yes,
where there's no access, it's just greenery there, I guess.
yes. If I could just pull it up.
Can I see the remote, please? That's okay. I haven't either, but I'll figure it out. Let's see.
Yes, it would now, it is currently on the east side, we would now be moving it to the south side. I should mention, I did speak to the chairman beforehand. Turns out we may have to adjust the application, or maybe let the chairman speak more towards that as to what we are actually seeking. But the idea would be is that we do need some relief.
Oh, this is not a TV, I'm sorry about that. This is not the TV remote.
I only have these two remotes.
Okay,
I
yes,
don't have
please.
the
I think maybe,
Let's give up.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
the TV is a bit of a distraction.
Yes.
And Mr. Weinberg, if you wanted to approach the board and show us on the hard copies, that I think will
Yeah.
have to be good enough.
Again, I
for-
think we all got, I just
for
want to get my
tonight.
directions straight. It is, we're proposing moving it from the eastern side to the southern side. It is an improvement. We are proposing, like I said, some landscaping around it, a proper enclosure. Right now, you kind of just have this dumpster, it's just sitting out there. But where it is now is unfortunately in the way. It interferes with circulation. Emergency access vehicles especially would not be able to get around. Garbage trucks would not be able to circulate the site
Once the building is built, right?
once the building is built.
Why don't we, I don't know if everybody's had a chance to look, and we've conveniently put this table in your way here, but what we're talking about is a dumpster enclosure here. You see this box right here? This is,
what's there now.
that's where it is now, and where Mr. Weinberg wants to move it is here.
In a proper enclosure. It's also more easily accessible to garbage, for garbage trucks, these front-loading garbage trucks. Here it's kind of up angle.
Well, I
Once the
think
building is
this particular diagram illustrates a rear-loading garbage truck, so I suppose this is what you're anticipating.
No, we did,
No?
no, the modeling software does not have the front loading.
Ah.
So we had to show the rear loading,
Ah.
but they would pull in, take the garbage, over the cabin.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Insert it, and then continue around.
Rear front, and
Okay,
Yes.
so
That came up at the planning board, that's just how the
I
modeling
don't know
software.
if everybody's
Really,
got
they made an issue about front
a
rear
good
loading?
It's the same truck,
I
it
know.
circulates.
an idea of what we're looking at here. Okay. So I wonder, Mr. Weinberg, if you could take us a little more into why this is a good idea. We have a dumpster in one corner in the back of the property, and we're moving it to another corner, to the opposite corner, in the back of the same property. So now, and the law, as you may know, requires that it be enclosed, and it's got to be screened in some manner, and all of that. So this will, moving it gives you an opportunity to, get into conformance with that particular law,
Yes.
which is a fine thing. But other than this, why move it? Take us into that a little bit further.
Well, for starters, it is almost literally touching the property line.
It is very close to this driveway that Mr. Margada mentioned.
Yes,
It is
the next
indeed.
door neighbor. We're now pushing it back, which allows for us to plant landscaping around it,
But now,
which we're proposing.
I would just point out that the driveway does not object to the presence of your dumpster as it is located now.
Or maybe the smell, again, moving it away from the neighbors. and-
Now, I do hope that the dumpster is it does not have an odor, because that too is in the code.
Right, well, I don't think it would, but, in general, why do they have a law that these should not be in the setbacks?
Yeah.
There obviously is a law for a
Yeah.
reason.
We want to minimize the
Right.
inconvenience, let's just put it on the table that way.
Yes.
We want to minimize the inconvenience for neighbors.
Yes.
And my point, though, is that the driveway is your closest neighbor in the present location, and the driveway does not care.
Right.
And you know, any neighbor that you have, on the other side of that driveway is sufficiently far enough away that they do not care either.
Right.
So it's only your neighbor to the rear that might be concerned, and
Closer.
that's closest to the current location.
Right.
Now, if we move the dumpster, now we have the same neighbor to the rear. Okay, so nothing changes there. They may or may not have an issue, but you're moving it now closer to the business on the other side of your property. Well,
It's
the
also-
property
look
you're
at
working.
Yes.
The position of that building. It's
Well,
also
hang on
closer.
just a second. I want to hear what Mr. Weinberg has to say about that. So we're moving it from a position where it could conceivably be an issue for one neighbor to a location where it could conceivably be an issue for two neighbors. Why is the new location then better?
So, you mentioned the word before, which may be a little inaccurate. You said we're moving it from one corner to the other corner. I would argue that we're not really moving it from a corner. It's kind of in a random spot that just interferes. Even if there were no building there, it interferes with what any parking area you have over there. And we're now tucking it neatly in a corner, which is a better place for a garbage truck to access it. Fits with a parking layout, so it actually is a better location simply just because.
So
of
what
it as-
I heard
For
is,
the proposed building, because
Yeah,
right now
yeah.
you say you argue if the building wasn't there. Well, if the building's not there, it's 90 feet away from the existing building, so it doesn't interfere with anything.
Right, but there is striping there now. You can't see it on that plan, there is striping there plan.
But there's a ridiculous
Right,
amount of parking back
but-
there, so.
Right.
it's
Well,
okay.
what we're talking about is it would be more accessible to the truck that's
To the
coming to
truck.
pick up okay?
Yes,
Because the truck has to navigate around the proposed new building.
yes,
Right. But all of that then depends on this particular plan for the new building. So what we are saying is that the new building has been organized in such a way that the most convenient place, if the building were situated like this, is in the location that's illustrated on the plans, right? It all kind of flows from the design of the building.
yes, but we should really backtrack in general. Putting it anywhere within the required setback, for starters, would be an eyesore, right? You put it in the front, if you could see my dashed line as to where you would be allowed to put it.
Yeah, this is, I think, a very good point. Let's
Yes.
stop and talk about setback.
Yeah.
Which setback is the proposed location in?
You can argue it's the rear and the side. Yes.
What is the rear setback?
The rear setback is 40 feet.
The legally required rear
The
setback?
legally required is 40 feet.
40.
Yes.
And what is the legally required setback for the side?
Legally required for the side, one side is 50. Well, it gets a little confusing.
Tell us all about it. We love that.
It's actually a little quirky in the code. If you look at the required one side setback, it's 50. Two sides is 80, which doesn't make sense. Usually it would be the other way. You would have one side, let's say 30, and the other side 80. Meaning, if you have one side 50, by definition, both of them need to be 100. If you have a side setback of 50, by definition, the other side needs to be 50 also, which means your total side
See,
needs to
and
be
now
100.
I'm with you. That part sounds pretty good to me.
Yes.
Where does it get interesting? Well, if it's 50 on both sides, I'm with you. But I think you were telling us your understanding is that it's something else.
Well, again, what is it in this case, or what the required?
Yeah. What is the required side setback?
The required then would be 30.
You think it's 30?
Well, it isn't. It should, meaning the required side setback is 50. That's what the code says.
Okay, 50.
50.
I think that they just mean they want one setback has to be 50, and that's it. And then,
The other, technically, that we don't need a setback, is what you're saying.
no, there needs to be a total of 80, right? That's it, the maximum?
Right. If I had one side 50, though, then what would I need on the other side? can I put it, let's say a house, let's forget.
I don't have the code in front of me. Does anybody have the code where it
Yeah,
says
I think it's time for us to declare ourselves insufficiently equipped to rule on that and go to Mr. Blanchard, who may have a better idea of this than we. Mark, do you know what should be the legally required side setback on this property?
I did not, I don't know. I didn't
Okay.
look at that dimensional requirement before this meeting. Typically, it would be called out in the building
is.
inspector's form.
This one, I think, didn't come to us from the building inspector. This one came to us by referral from the planning board.
So, look, I think the way to clarify this would be, instead of going back, right, and causing a delay by going back to the building inspector, subject to board approval, you as the engineer could amend your plan. We can still walk through this discussion and walk through, you know, your 5 points and why it's better. But if the plan could show the existing condition, proposed condition versus legal requirement, then I think this would clarify for the board
Well, it does.
what it is you're asking for.
Yes.
I can't see that.
Because right now I see what you're asking for, but I don't see what you would have to do if you didn't get this.
Yeah, I have it over.
Shows there.
5 feet. 5 feet, I know it's a little.
All right.
It does.
What page are we looking at?
The layout plan, the site plan,
What page number?
which would be page 2 after the site.
Thank you, page
It does show, it's got all.
Well, it shows, okay, I think what the board is asking for,
5 and 5.
5 and 5 is what, so 5 and 5 is what's proposed.
Proposed.
But I think they'd like to make the determination, and there's,
It's here.
oh, I'm looking at the wrong sheet.
You're looking, yeah, you're on a landscaping or grading plan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you gotta go to page 2.
Can you at least turn the,
Yeah.
so I can see it at least? Oh, there we go.
Yes.
Okay, that's what you're saying? So what are you saying about that? Oh, that's,
I was really just going off tangent about the total side setback versus the.
I got you. So right now, this is what you're asking for?
Yes,
And,
5 feet.
There, it is there,
but I
okay.
think what he was mentioning is what, if, compared to what you want to what you would have to do.
Yeah, what is the
What
legal
do you
requirement?
have to do? Where,
What is the-
where is it showing that this is where it would have to be if you didn't get a variance?
It would need to be in the dashed line, 50 feet away.
Right.
Dash line.
It's very hard to see. It's missing on the rear, but if you look at the side, you see there's the dash.
What?
Oh,
Okay, this right here. So he's
That-
saying
your
this
dress
is the
is
side
sucks.
setback.
That's a dash line for you?
That's it. see
That's
that?
it?
And,
That's it.
and there isn't one to the rear. He said-
that was a mistake.
Okay, and what your understanding of the rear is that it's to be 40.
So you're saying there should be a dash line in the rear someplace, but it's not there?
This is 50,
Was somehow.
and there should be something similar at 40. So then the dumpster would have to be more or less inside
Inside the 40.
the new building.
Yes.
It's very close to this
Goes
corner.
inside the new building, yes.
So
Like some sort of
It needs to be there.
they'd have to build the building around it almost.
And I should further point out, let's look at the front area. I know I've seen in the past the way the Village of Monroe Code determines that your front setback, there's a required front setback, and then your front setback starts where the front of your building is. So you couldn't even put in front of the building because that's in a setback.
It's already existing.
Well, I
Yeah, and
believe the
that's
code
That's an existing building.
states that it has to be behind the front of the building.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's just out
So,
right away.
Yes.
That's just
And
not.
where it is right now is behind the building.
It's behind.
in front, so.
yes, it is outside of the setback.
But then again, we don't know what the code was at the time that this building was built. It was a really long time ago.
Yeah, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the code was changed in 2011 to include this law that is the one that Mr. Weinberg is seeking the variance for, which states that it has to be within any setbacks, easements, or buffers. So I think it was at that time
Yes.
that that law was
And
adopted.
and that would minimize what size of the building they want to do if they want, they're trying to
Yes.
maximize the footprint that they can build by moving that dumpster enclosure out of the footprint, out of that setback.
Yes.
That's what.
Dan, are you talking about the reasoning for the law in 2011, or are you
No,
saying?
right now, he's saying, if he was to
yeah.
do it- basically, it was, as it was explained, if he was to put it legally, it would have to be, within where the building is, it would
Yep.
have to be a little smaller, or built around, like you said, and so they wanna maximize the amount of size of the building they can build, so they're moving the dumpster out.
Yeah. Yeah,
So, to that point, so the rear yard setback you exceed, you're at 44.7, when you
Yes.
need 40.
Yes.
And the side yard for the building footprint, you're at 50 and you need 50.
A little more than 50, and
Yeah,
you need
okay.
50, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
This is the only variance we seek,
All due to the dumpster.
all due to the dumpster.
building footprint
the
is
building
fully
itself
compliant.
is within the setbacks,
Right.
right, that's what you're getting
They're
at.
basically,
Yeah.
Right.
because they would have to put the dumpster within that footprint, and they wanna use that for building, they're moving it out of the way so they can
Right.
make it a little bit bigger.
Yes,
Well, that's why I think it's relevant.
Yeah.
To your point exactly.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
so,
And I should further point out, when we were going through the design, it probably would have been beneficial to shift the building a little bit up or to the west when we were in the initial design stages, but because of the setback envelope, we had to keep it there. We did
Yeah.
not want to request a variance. There would have been, don't want to really get into all the details. It would have been more beneficial to shift the building a little bit up. We didn't, to avoid any of these variances. But unfortunately, after going through all this, we are left with, this dumpster that just can't
The
be
only way
there.
around this is that they made the building smaller.
Yes.
That's the only way to do it legally.
well, I don't know about that. They could make the building smaller, they could make a plan, as Mr. Weinberg just said, to shift the new building up and,
Then it wouldn't conform.
It wouldn't conform.
I'm talking about the way to fit, the way the.
Nothing to do with the
only way
dumpster.
he would not have to come in front of our board is if he had, let's say, put a notch out here for a dumpster enclosure, and the building would.
I understand your point. I suppose if this setback, this 30 setback here is fixed on this side, and the 50 on that side, which I'm not so clear on myself, but this is what Mr. Weinberg is showing. If that is so, then then he can't move it up without variances.
Am I, just want to make sure, I might be thinking, I'm picking up on hinting out, are you wondering if this had to be 30, or this could have been 50 and that could have been 30?
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, I was actually, like I said, I haven't studied the
So
it's a
this-
possibility, we haven't looked at the,
Well, so that is what we're seeing here, though, Mr. Weinberg. This, you got 50 side setback on one side and 30 on the other side, right? And is it your understanding that these must be 50 on this side, and you couldn't flip it, make it 50 on the other instead?
I mean, the existing building is already outside the envelope, it's already non-conforming.
Right, the
You're
existing,
not trying to stick with the conformity, that's one thing.
right.
So if you're just worrying about the addition or the attached building,
Yep.
is there a reason why you couldn't do it that way? Is there a reason why you couldn't make the 50, the 30, switch it back and forth, so you could keep the dumpster enclosure on the opposite side?
It doesn't yes, it works better with the circulation and the way the truck
Tell
would
us
turn
why it
in.
works better.
Because the way I'm looking at it now, the flow wouldn't change, you would just have.
Because the
these handicap
dumpster, but the
parking spots
dumpster in that
instead.
location, I should just point out, it would still need to be moved to the corner.
Right.
And it would affect us because if you look at the way a truck turn, right, the way we have it right now, the truck backs in, it pulls into the dumpster, like I said, grabs it, throws it behind.
And the way
and
you
out.
do it now would do the same thing over here.
No, it wouldn't, because for starters,
Yeah, please do.
if the dumpster was here,
Right.
the truck is coming down this way.
Mhm.
It would have to be here, and we
Uh-huh.
would lose all this parking here if it was in the corner.
Oh, but you don't necessarily have to, you could keep,
We
I'm
can
looking at the
shift it.
parking
Well, we can.
spots. I'm looking at the parking spots that you have right here on page 5. And look on page 5. The parking sort of ends right there. What are you losing? The truck just swings out here. You can put the enclosure at a slight angle and dumps in, and then it goes back
These
out.
trucks, if you look on the later page here, page 5 is actually also a hand landscaping plan. It's a little outdated.
I got this. So what
So
page
we
are we
talk
looking
about
at?
the
6?
truck path,
Yeah.
Mr. Weinberg?
What page
So-
is that?
There you go, Dan. There's your truck path, right there.
Page 8,
Page 8. So there we go.
yeah.
So if the truck was to go.
To your point, it can't be in its location now.
No, I understand that.
But yeah, it could be shifted there.
That's what I think Chairman John was suggesting, that why did you explore the possibility of switching the two setbacks so you can keep it on that side? Because again, I think his point is valid, that it's the only person that's the only thing that's bothering is that driveway,
Right.
you know, and it doesn't seem to bother, I don't think that driveway would have a problem with it.
Right, right. And then, well, then we only have to concern ourselves with the property, you know.
And if
But
you look at the position of the building, it is far away from where that building is.
there is if members don't know, the property to the rear has a large parking lot that separates Mr. Weinberg's building from the building to the rear. So there is a rather large parking lot
Yes.
there, which parking lot probably isn't going to care very
No.
much about the dumpster in either of these two proposals.
But it's the,
But now, of course, we don't know that the users of that property won't change their, use of the property at
because
some
it's-
future
It
date.
is a parking spot that employees may park near and they might get annoyed with the smell.
Well, now,
You never know.
Mr. Weinberg is not going to have a stinky dumpster because
But-
according to code, he may not.
Right.
It has to be properly maintained, which his clients, I'm sure, will
But the
ensure
code has
is
these
the, is the
redundancies
case.
in there, not just the enclosure as well as the setbacks as a redundancy, because sometimes not everybody's always prudent about keeping things perfectly.
Right. Might be many reasons why one might object to, a dumpster that is abutting one's property, and that is why, in addition to maintaining it properly, the law requires it to be screened, which is in
Yes.
Mr. Weinberg's
Driveway
plan.
has no permanent anything there, just cars go by.
And I should point out about this other location, where we have it actually is better, because the other way, again, it would be touching the property line versus now we're 5 feet off. And if we were to do it 5 feet off in the other location, that would interfere with a fire truck
Right.
or with a dumpster.
Well-
That would mess up. Do you see circulation is a little tight around that bend?
Yeah, let's be upfront about the idea that were you to consider this other proposal, you'd need a variance for that too, I
Right.
suppose.
Yeah.
Because it's just one variance or the other. Either one is firmly into at least one setback, and I would think two, right?
Right.
It's well into a rear setback and a side setback in
Yes.
either case.
Where it is now.
I'd also want to remind the board, the board, I think you bring up a good point about a hypothetical change of use of the property to the rear, but the board has to deliberate upon existing conditions.
Existing conditions.
Thanking you for the reminder.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we have,
Existing is a driveway, that's always going to be a
Yeah.
driveway too small to be
well,
anything else.
this is kind of what I was thinking about as well. We have the driveway that does not care, and we have a neighbor on the other side who potentially could. Now, we haven't heard, we have not received any, mail from them. And they have not attended this evening.
You're right.
Just to
I was
be-
going to suggest
Just
that
to
we
be
talk-
clear, for members of the public who are viewing this scintillating event, while we are holding a public hearing, no members of the public are present.
Yeah, I was going to point out, when we talk about caring, we could ask the public.
But can I just say something? We talk about
Yeah,
what the attorney mentioned about the way things are now. Basically, this is being constructed in what is really the parking lot.
The rear parking lot of the
Now,
property.
and the whole point of the dumpster being in the parking lot is that the parking lot naturally has a lot of space. Now you have absolutely no space to park, and I'm curious with this big building where everybody's gonna park.
Well, that's what page 8 is showing. He's saying, but it's much less park. Do you know, do you have any numbers about how many parking spaces are going to be eliminated by this?
Approximately. It's not so well defined, but
Approximate is fine. Ballpark, within 10 is fine.
we're talking about approximately 25 spaces that are eliminated. It has been very clear,
But you still, with what's there after this design, they're still
absolutely
conforms.
compliant.
Does it, so I don't have to go looking up codes and everything, does it meet or exceed?
Exceed
It exceeds by how many spots?
2.
Okay.
Yes.
So even though
Yes.
they're eliminating 25 spots, they still have 2 more than what's required after
Yes.
the new addition.
Yes. And again, as I think we'd all agree, having excess parking or excess pavement for the sake of it, we're talking about enhancing the village and improving it. And you could see right now, it's just one big sea of pavement, and we are adding the
People
landscaping.
driving by that road, they're not going to see it at all. It's going to be very limited visual impact on the
Well,
back.
I think Mr. Weinberg isn't getting so much at the visual improvement of the visual impact as
Or just
the
in
fact that
general, just adding more green
the-
space is just better for the environment. Forget the visual, I think just,
Adding the landscaping is definitely going to make a difference. I see what you're saying in that
yes,
aspect.
just
Well, I don't know that there's all that much landscaping. Tell us about the
Actually, up
landscaping,
front, look
Mr.
up
Weinberg.
Well, right now, there's nothing.
Yes, right now there's nothing.
All these hatched areas, that's new.
That's all
there's
new.
nothing there.
There's
Okay.
They're
nothing,
not even
yeah.
eliminating the landscape because there's
Well,
nothing to eliminate.
That's
Right.
all
I'm
great,
very familiar with this building,
but,
Mike.
but hasn't anything to do with the dumpster in the rear.
No, you just asked the
I'm
question
just-
about landscaping.
Because the reason why I'm bringing all this up is just, the dumpster in the rear, while this is we're contemplating tonight, but this is, one piece in a puzzle that my firm has spent a lot of time honing to get to where we are. So just bringing up these other features that are as part of the plan.
We do appreciate the voluminous documentation and the evidence of hard work, Mr. Weinberg, and we do not care.
And
Because we are here to engage with only the variance concerning the
I should
dumpster.
also bring up the fact that when we're talking about putting the dumpster back along here, and we're talking about the path, we're also considering this is the path if the building is in this position, if it hadn't been moved. Do you understand? Like the path would change if you moved the building back. It could change slightly, but we don't know.
You mean the path that a trash truck would take?
Correct.
Yeah.
It could change
Yeah.
slightly. As it is over here, it's cut in the corner more than it is over here. So
Yeah.
that could flip as well.
If he were to flip
But
the
it hasn't
building
been
around,
explored, and we don't know.
yeah,
'Cause it
but
wasn't explored.
But again, to your point, Mr. Chairman, you would still need the variance.
you would.
The point I think he's trying to say is, if we're gonna have to give a variance either way, let's look for the one that impacts the least on the neighbors. And if we were to have a
That
dumpster on
is
this
the-
side, that
that
would be
is
the
the
least
question.
impact.
Yeah.
Both are gonna, no matter what, if you wanna keep this maximized footprint, you're gonna need a variance. So he's trying to suggest that, did you explore other options if there's gonna be a variance anyway, which is the least amount of impact? So we'd like to see, I think, an explored option by keeping the dumpster on that side up against a driveway that's not gonna really bother anybody. Has that been explored or possibly thought about? Sketched?
It is not.
Okay.
I get what you're
understand
saying. Yeah, where if you were to flip it, but again, I think there is also the part where it might sound simple, but again, reorienting it and now having it come that way, you still have to explore the
Oh, no,
turns
I
around the
didn't
building,
think it
right?
was simple at
Wait a
all.
minute, wait a
I'm
minute.
just saying it's
I want to hear what Mr. Weinberg was going to say there. Oh, I'm sorry, could you
Yeah.
repeat that?
Just, when you do flip it, it's not just simply, for example, putting this dumpster in the same orientation on the other side. You do also have to rotate it 90 degrees now to face the way the truck is going.
Yeah.
And it's not as simple as it may look. That's all.
Except, I think it does face the way the truck is going. In fact, I was there myself, and
Now it does, yes.
Yeah, it
but
does.
It would have to
No,
be
he
moved.
means if we were to just flip what
Yes.
we're looking at here, it wouldn't face it, which he's right. But then again, as part of planning, you'd have to rotate it 90 degrees to have it face the path. Take this
no,
and rotate it.
Dan,
Right.
in fact, here it's facing this way.
Correct, that's what he's saying.
If we were to do it the way we were talking about, it'd have to face this
Right,
way.
and that's what he's saying.
Which it does do, right now.
We're not talking about right now. He's talking about proposed. He's saying if you were to flip it, he's thinking literally, like mirror flipping it, literally it would face that way if it's facing this
Yeah,
way.
you
it would face
can't,
that
you
way.
can't mirror flip.
Exactly, that's
Right.
what he's saying.
What you would do is, your
Yes.
building
Right.
sort of flips in a
Yes.
sense,
Right.
sliding it.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Yes.
but no, you don't just flip this plan to the other side. It doesn't
Right.
quite work
No, no,
that
no,
way.
Right.
But I've taken Mr. Weinberg's measure, and I am confident that he could do this if he chose to. He could figure out how to orient the dumpster
And
to
what he's
locate it in
trying to
the
say-
corner if he wished
He
to.
was just trying to say it wasn't just a simple, we're trying
No,
to.
it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried about that. I think that this is not going to strain his faculties or those of his associates.
He's basically saying you can handle it, it's a little bit more work, but you can handle it.
Well, okay, so the question then is, we have a viable alternative. Is there sufficient reason to go down that road? I think maybe I'd like to hear from other members as to whether or not because what we're saying is that for the protection of the property on the other side there, we might ask Mr. Weinberg and his clients to consider locating it closer to the current location. But is that something that is important?
1 second, just so we're all on the same page, literally. We're looking at page 8 would be the best page for us to discuss this on. So can you all?
Yeah, that's your rear load garbage truck path.
Right.
Anybody needs an extra
Is Does anybody need an extra set of plans? You just got an extra, okay, I'll take this.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Blanchard.
could I maybe rephrase your question slightly? 'Cause
Please.
whenever we have these discussions or we're talking about impact, the board's always building its record upon which it makes its decision. And we have to consider what you've already alluded to, and I'd like the board to just flesh it out a little bit while you're answering this question. What is the record relating to the impact to the building to the rear and the building to the west? Right now, we've just kind of, it's more hypothetical.
It
but
is.
What's the evidence? But that's why I want the board to stay in the existing condition discussion and talk about the record that you're building, as it relates to what this impact here on the southwest corner as proposed. Let's talk about what the board deems the impact to be.
Mind if I address that real quick?
Go ahead.
I think right now, you could say that if the dumpster was to be kept on the side that it's on, moved but kept on that side, there's no visual impact to the bank side, and negligible difference to the impact on the property in the rear. Whereas if it was moved to the other side, there's all of a sudden at least a visual impact on a new property, as well as a closer impact to the rear property as well. So it's the impact is greater on the other side as opposed to where it is right now.
Impact is greater proposed.
Right.
When you say other side, you're saying
Correct.
proposed.
The proposed side will have a greater
Let us
impact on the
say,
rear property.
as proposed in the plan.
Correct.
Submitted.
Proposed.
Yeah.
Because
We've
right
got-
now
we've
where it
got-
exists, if it stays within that side and only moves,
Yes.
within 10, 15 feet, the impact, especially with a new building, will still be zero against the other side, and the rear will just be slightly different. But once you move it, then there is an impact to the property on the other side, as well as a greater on the rear. So that's the one difference I can see what he's saying. That's one big difference.
But I should just point out, there are other, if we're talking about mirroring the building potentially to do all that, there are other impacts that do need to be considered. Well, for starters, you talk about the driveway versus the bank, they're now would be looking at a different side of the building. Just the overall visual impact of this proposed building, of what they're looking at. They're suddenly looking at the back of the building. So you kind of have to evaluate that as a whole.
So we don't have plans of the building in front of us. Was the back, a monolithic structure with no windows, or?
No, renderings were included in this submission.
Okay,
So
so-
we can see the parking here
Yeah.
along this side here. This is, what he's saying is, this is the front
No, I understand.
of the
Yes.
addition.
I hear what
Well,
you're saying, but
just to make sure that everyone is following, oh, very good. So here we have the
that's the front.
illustration.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
the rear, is there a rear here?
And so the cost of sparing the bank,
No, they're pretty much the same.
the cost of sparing the bank the dumpster is that they're looking at the back of the
Here we go, here
new
we go.
addition.
Here we go. Here we go. So rear?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's the side. I'm sorry. Side, front. Yeah, we don't see what the rear would be, so we don't know how different it would be, how different the impact would be. So without plans, we don't know what the difference, it will be the rear, but what's the difference?
What is a commercial condominium?
Yeah, what is a commercial, is that the upstairs, becoming?
Yeah, just basically selling individual office spaces.
Oh, so it's office, not residential.
Yeah, not residential. The word is
Because
commercial.
the term condominiums are usually.
It's thrown a lot of people in the
Threw me,
mouth,
I'm
yes.
thinking-
Me too.
Okay,
Yes.
so I understand, so just individual, not a whole building, yeah, I know.
Yes, and again, also in terms of the design of the building, it's not just simply a mirror flip.
Right.
There's one key item that you could see, there is the corridor. You see this interior corridor that goes through the new building? The old building, sorry.
Right, the.
And there's a very
Covered-
specific,
covered
yes, there's a very
car.
specific reason for that. We have proposed that as a safety feature. We don't want people, we want people to, if they need to get to the back, we want them to be able to cut right through as opposed to walk around the building, where there's now, they would potentially be walking on the parking lot. So that connects, that's been architecturally worked out, and that connects to the new building. Simply mirroring this, that's a whole new reconfiguration internally.
Where is this, you're talking about a proposed car, the interior?
Do you see the
proposed-
interior, yeah, proposed,
do.
yes, yes.
So, what you're saying, if the building was to move, that wouldn't be, that corridor wouldn't work?
It would definitely have to be explored, and it's not just, what I'm pointing, the point I'm making is not just a simple mirror flip of the interior.
Yeah,
That's my point is, that fits in and that we paid careful attention to that.
Right, because the way, well, so this interior corridor is accessible from your new building.
Yes,
And so if we relocate the new building, you have to do some work on the interior of the new
Yes,
building
that's my
in
point.
order to align with the interior corridor, which is there for fire escape purposes or other emergency sorts of purposes.
yes, and
That's
just
the-
also so people don't need to walk around the
And-
back. Yeah,
And convenience, yeah,
Yes.
okay, just to have ready access to
Yes.
the new building. Yeah,
I think he's saying, especially since there are going to be there will be several businesses in the condominium setup that you're doing, and when people walk around, they want to be able to get to all the
Yes.
different offices or
yes,
shops. Or
okay,
whatever.
I think that's an important point.
yes.
Okay. So, yeah, so I think we can see that, did we have concerns about the proposed location? There is a path that could be followed, but it would require some thought on the part of Mr. Weinberg to not just move his building in one direction, but to rework the interior somewhat. So that is,
Yes.
that's a more substantial alteration than simply building the same thing a little bit more.
Yeah.
in one-
And just
another
another side point, obviously the existing buildings are non-conforming, but the way you sort of see it out, the bulk of the non-conformity is kind of taking place towards one side, where if you were to mirror it, it kind of brings all the non-conformities all over the site.
And this is all because it needs to be a front-loading, a dumpster that
Yeah.
loads in the front of a truck.
Yes,
Because if it was a rear loading, then the truck would just back into it, would be there, it'd be no problem. Which I hardly ever see too many front-loading trucks, but I guess that's the most important.
yeah,
And
where I
rear
live, they
loading,
have
it
them.
can't- It can't work. The trucks don't like to have the rear loading anymore.
That is an interesting observation. Okay, so, does anyone else have any questions for Mr. Weinberg?
Yeah, I have curiosity, what is this sticking point with front-loading trucks? I mean, maybe you can cross it with a planning board, or is it,
No, I mean, where I live, that's
Oh,
what they load, yeah.
but up here, it's, there's a lot of rear-loading trucks too as well.
Oh, I just
Yeah.
know, from what I understand, from what I've been told from ownership, is that first of all, they'd have to be, they're probably using a front-loading truck now, but I think who they contract is just a front, company with front-loading trucks.
So it would be difficult to get one
Yeah.
that was a rear-loading truck?
Yeah.
They don't have it. Out of curiosity, do you know who the contract is with? Is it with Waste Management, or
I do not. No.
'Cause I've not known unless it's with the,
Interstate
the
waste, maybe.
commercial, that all their trucks are front-loading only, they're not.
Oh, really? Yeah, I didn't,
That could be it.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, most companies have both. So that's why I didn't understand why that was limited to.
Yeah.
Because you could see, you look at the path, you could see the guy could just back in,
Right,
and then you'd be able to put it on the other side.
right. But there is also just, it's after a bunch of maneuvering. Here, he's already going straight, he goes straight in, straight out.
Yeah,
Versus the other way, it's after turning, and then he's got to maneuver back in. Yeah,
straight back, which trucks do all the time.
yeah,
I see dump trucks,
Right.
garbage trucks go like 7, 8 houses back in reverse, and they have no
Right.
problem. They're pretty good with that.
right.
But I don't think it's such a feat of maneuvering just to go in reverse. So I mean, it's funny. I think it's all about that truck. Because if you could look, I mean, look at this little area right here where they wouldn't bother a parking lot or spot at all if the truck was to just be able to back in and grab a hold of it. But it seems like we're limited to this because of a truck. Which I just,
Well,
I
so
can't wrap
so
my
be
head
it.
around.
Okay,
What is the minimum number of parking spaces?
It depends on the square footage and a lot of-
73,
Yeah,
33?
yes. And
73.
we're proposing 75.
okay, and you got 75, so that's 2 more, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, right now it had like way more than what was needed for the existing building.
Yeah,
It's,
Well, it's pretty much empty, that's why there's.
I mean, if it's 75 now for the building addition, imagine right now it probably requires, a third less than that, and it's always had like, that's why nobody really parks back there, it's always so much room.
existing would require approximately, I think, 45 spaces. Yeah,
And yeah, not much at all, and they got way more than that right now, so
Yes.
So putting an addition to this building, it's not overdeveloping, it's utilizing the property more. I mean, but this is just maximizing it.
Okay, what do we think about this, this proposal from Mr. Weinberg? Anybody got a,
Go down the line and just ask individually. John, what do you think?
that would be,
yes, sorry, good question.
Yeah, are we going to open it to the public?
Thank you.
Oh,
We are still technically, even though you're having a robust discussion,
we have
which
to
is
first open
perfectly
it up to
fine.
them before we can.
Right, you want to formally take a vote to open the public hearing,
Right.
and then you formally take a vote to close the public
Right,
hearing.
thank you.
Yeah.
Adjourn and/or close. I would suggest close since no one's here.
yeah, well, all right. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's take a vote to open, and do we have to both open and close, Mark, or are we simply going to
Yeah, usually
close in
we
the
it after
absence?
We're done deliberating, usually. We close. We don't
You could
close
do it
right
either
away.
way. I typically I see the deliberations after you close the public hearing, but you
Yeah.
could.
I think-
The reason why we sometimes wait is because in case something comes up where we require them to come back, we don't want to have to reopen it again. And
I see what you're saying. So if you're not, so
So
you
wait
want to
till-
continue your discussion and then open it?
and then close it.
Close
And then
it.
close it?
Open it, then they'll do their deliberation, then close it and vote.
Yeah,
Don't do that.
that's
Yeah,
that's fine.
the
I
same.
think
We don't open and close right at the same. We'll do our deliberation, then close it.
yeah, that's fine too. Yes,
In
yes,
case
yes.
he has to come back with something like, oh, I got to bring this back. This
In
way we
case
don't have
somebody
to
comes
reopen.
in.
No, I hear it. Yes, absolutely, of
Yeah,
course.
because I just don't know how members are feeling about what
Right.
we've all been discussing. So, yeah.
Motion? Should we motion? I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay, thank you, Elizabeth. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Is there anybody from the public that has anything that they want to say?
Well, okay, for the record, let me state then that there aren't any members of the public present in the meeting this evening.
So maybe we should say our concerns now, like,
Well, yeah, let's hear it then.
go in order.
I thi-
I guess.
Dan, why don't you take it away?
I
It
think
sounds
we
like
should
you've
just-
got, you're
well, I do
loaded and
have-
ready for bear.
Well, I do have a bunch, so what I'd like to go down to give everybody else a chance. John, do you have any
That would be Jim.
concerns? Jim, I'm sorry.
We have two guys named John, but he's not one of them.
Jim, would you have any, another J, sorry. No,
No,
no
at the end
questions,
of the day, it's a
concerns? Elizabeth, is there anything that you have?
No, not really. I
Talking
do
about
feel
garbage.
like it's six or
Am
a
I
half
wrong?
dozen.
Oh, I just want to make sure.
What about?
Six or a half dozen is one spot or another.
Mhm.
And they're making an attempt to make it look aesthetically more pleasing, which I think is great.
Mhm.
And it's already not in conformity. I think that's a huge issue for me, that it's already not in conformity, and you're just lessening that nonconformity.
Well,
Because we do set a precedent when we make a decision, so if that ever comes up again, we could say they were just trying to make this better.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, unless we're going to require Mr. Weinberg to design the dumpster into the side of the building or radically
Or
reduce the
yeah.
size of the building,
Not radical,
anything,
but you have to, yeah,
anything that we would contemplate here would be
a variance.
a variance. I think that's
The only way
fair
we
to
would
say.
avoid it is if you had to notch the building, he'd have to change the building to put the dumpster in that area, in that
Mhm.
footprint.
Okay.
That's good to note for the record. I agree.
Larry?
No concerns.
Okay.
So, I don't have any concerns, but I do see what, I mean, I think I share what John was talking about in the placement of the dumpster where it would impact. And having it on this side is less of although the issue is minor, but having it on the existing side is less of an impact than it would be on the other side. And I see what you're
Is,
saying.
yeah, yeah.
And,
How many times
But
a
is
week
is it sufficient to require Mr. Weinberg to go back and rework his plan?
and that's what I don't.
How many times a week does the dumpster come?
Right. Oh, on the commercial property, like at least every other day.
Oh, really?
Commercials, they gotta take care of the, there's a deli there, in that little area.
Right.
There's a pharmacy in that little area. There's
Yeah.
junk, garbage is accumulating constantly. It's not like residential
Oh, I
where
see. I
they do
didn't
once or
understand
twice a week.
Hmm. So
Some-
where does
some go
this,
daily.
Dan, where does this take you then?
And that's another thing too, she brought up a fact, I totally forgot about that. The amount of time that there's gonna be a garbage truck sitting there filling up or emptying out the dumpster.
If I should just point out,
Yeah.
it's there, it's gonna be needed wherever it is.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know how often, I probably would think it's
The
less than
proposed
that.
construction makes that area look 1,000
Yeah.
times better than it ever
Yes,
is. I
and
mean, we're talking about it.
Especially the
Well-
green space.
well,
Especially the green space. He's
I-
just worried about the position.
I think,
Yeah,
I
no,
think
I
Mr.
understand-
Weinberg's going to make it
I
look
understand,
better no matter which way it goes.
Right, no, I agree. but
That's
if-
going to be
if
true
the
in all
proposal is to
eventualities.
enclose it with landscaping, that'll mitigate any odor.
Absolutely.
He'll,
Right.
he'll be required to do that wherever he puts the dumpster.
Absolutely.
Regardless
Yes.
of which side it's on. Whether it's
Yes.
on that side or the other side, it's still going to have that.
I totally get that, it's a dumpster. That's my answer.
Well, Jim, you do get the reward for the most succinct position on the matter.
I try to cliff note my decisions,
Yeah,
keep it
Yeah.
basic.
we appreciate
much
it.
appreciated.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
I'm getting the impression that it's a dumpster.
So Dan, now that you know that, where do your contemplations take you?
I see what he's saying. How the amount of thought and adjustments that would need to go in just to contemplate it, putting it on this side. I wish that it was explored, but I can respect the fact that it's a lot of work at this point, at this stage, to change the position of the side of the.
Well, I don't mean to lobby for either one. I think that we should not worry too much about Mr. Weinberg's having to do a little extra work. I don't think he's afraid of a little extra work if there was a good reason.
It is a hardship.
So let's
Fine.
don't pay any attention to his crying. He could do it if we had a good reason.
Well, I'm getting the impression from the board, even if I didn't like it on that side, it's not going to make a difference. If I liked it, if I didn't like it because it was on
I
this side,
think
if I'm more prone to be-
my point is, just let's
I'd be more
consider it on the
inclined
merits.
I'd be more inclined to be in favor of it if it was on the same side, again, because I think that driveway doesn't mind. That's just, when I have to sit there and think about it all, I like it better on this side, but it needs to be changed. A lot of things need to be changed to do that.
You would.
And I can understand that it's work, but I wish I could see, a plan showing it that way. And I wish it wasn't so difficult because
Well-
of the darn truck that doesn't have a rear light.
Let's not worry about the truck, though. Is this enough of a concern that you think we need to go down that road, or isn't this a satisfactory solution that Mr. Weinberg's plan has in it here? I mean, what?
Well, okay. First off, I should say that we're let's go to the five merits.
I was just gonna bring that up. That might make it easier. It was the balancing test, the area variance, or changing the character of the neighborhood, going back and reworking the
It's a
full
hardship.
plan
That's what
to
I
the,
was gonna say.
like, think of,
Want to kind of count them off to us, and then we'll.
Create
well,
an extra
well,
opportunity.
again, it's an area variance, not a use variance, of course. So so just starting out for the record, so it's a balancing test where you first have to weigh, will you change the character of the neighborhood to the detriment of the neighborhood versus the benefit
All
to
right,
the applicant?
let's engage with that point first. Does anybody have an argument that this in some way changes the character of the neighborhood?
No.
Or instead of using the term neighborhood, let's say that the surrounding properties to it, would it change the character of?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
How do
For
you-
the better.
For the better.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we're talking about the impact of the variance only, not the rest of the.
Yeah.
We only
Yeah.
having the dumpster on that side change the impact of the neighborhood.
No.
Okay. And Elizabeth doesn't feel she
No,
said no.
Larry had I think indicated no.
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that there's a material difference.
negligible. If
Yeah,
anything,
I think
it's a minor-
that's fair to say. What's our second test?
Is it going to result in a deleterious environmental condition or some kind of environmental harm or hazard to the neighborhood?
Mm-hmm. So
What do you think, Jim? Do you think it'll be an environmental hazard where it's being positioned?
You really?
We're going to each person. We're doing this.
we're doing the 5-part test,
It's a
Jim.
dumpster. It's a dumpster.
Even,
Even it's a yes or no.
Jim, even for
I
dumpsters,
know.
we do the 5-part
Better than
balancing
the
test.
five-part balancing
I'm
test.
trying to bring my act on the road. No, it's not.
Okay, environmental?
No.
No?
I don't think it's going to change it that much, especially since the smell has to be by law mitigated, so it shouldn't change it.
I expect not.
That's a good point.
Okay, and the third test?
The third test is there a feasible alternative to the location of the dumpster?
Do you feel
Jim.
Do you feel there's a feasible alternative?
feasibility is a tricky question. There is a potential alternative, but it bears cost to the applicant.
It does.
Can I just ask one dumb question? Since it is a dumpster, I go back to the
Yeah.
dumpster. Is the size of the dumpster going to be the same?
Yes.
Okay, so that's all I wanted to know.
Yes,
Thank you.
yeah.
Same dumpster.
Elizabeth, do you think there's a feasible alternative?
On this one, I do kind of feel like they don't actually have to move it. I think there was an argument that they could keep it in the same spot,
Or relative same area, you mean, yeah.
so, but, you know, we don't have to prove all 5 points.
No, indeed. It's a
This is
balancing.
the weakest of
You're
the
balanced.
It is a balancing test, even if you
Right.
find that there is some part of the one of the 5 points that argues against the proposal. That does not mean the proposal is, you know, is
Right. However, it does,
impeded.
to go back to what we said before, it is less, it is less, you know, but it's like
Invasive.
it's still in violation of the variance,
so
but
it's
not
still
as
part
much,
of
so it's better in that respect.
I got you. It doesn't, the variance is not as, yeah. it's
Sorry, I
not
said that
much
very
of an
poorly.
impact, yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, it's not as, you know, close to the end, so it is actually better in that respect.
What do you feel? Do you
I agree.
alternative?
I agree with Jim. I think it's subjective. I mean, I don't.
There could be an alternative?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel the same way. I think there could be, I mean, it hasn't been explored. There could be an alternative, place to put it, but it
Yeah.
hasn't been explored. How about you?
Yeah, well, I think we can see that there is an alternative. Is it feasible? I suppose with some work it would be, but I find myself not entirely persuaded that there is a compelling reason to explore this feasible alternative. But I suppose one could say that there is a feasible alternative.
Right.
Yeah.
And the next,
Well, considering with the variances now that it's touching the property line and where it's going to be a little 5 feet off, are you granting the minimum variance necessary?
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, for where it is, I mean, does it, I mean,
I think, well, let's just make the round then. Is this the minimum variance, Jim, that one could contemplate? The proposal as drawn by Mr. Weinberg and his firm.
Again, maybe
It's a dumpster.
subjective, but I would think so.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't think it's a crazy thought.
Mhm. Elizabeth?
I thought it was supposed to be whether the variance was substantial.
I'm sorry, I've rephrased it. It's whether or not it's substantial variance. And there's also,
It is true that the minimal variance is kind of a
I see,
Um,
sorry.
sixth.
that's a good distinction. 'Cause
If one were to find that, you know, we were engaging with with granting the variance, then we have to ensure that it is the minimal variance.
right.
So it's a bit of a sixth test in a sense.
Right.
But
But
there's
the
no-
substantiality of it is a proper question.
Yeah, certainly substantiality is one of our 5
Right,
tests.
So I
So-
do not believe it's substantial, and again, it's less of a you know, it's encroaches less than it presently does, so it's an
Okay.
improvement.
So substantiality, Larry, is this such a substantial variance that would give you pause?
No.
Dan?
is it substantial enough to give me pause? No, but I mean, before it was only encroaching against one property, now it's getting close to 2. So in that
Yeah.
respect, it's slightly worse?
One could say that. Its substantiality is so difficult, isn't it? I'd say it's a very substantial variance from the setbacks as expressed in the law.
Right.
However, the alternatives seem to require very substantial setbacks also. So I suppose it is rather substantial, but so too is any alternative.
Well, the alternative would be encroaching against one.
Yeah, so, which is why I focused on the neighbors. The one aspect that seems to be different here is that this proposal does, expose this to the neighbor a bit more than the alternative as we discussed. So, one could think of that as also substantial. Yeah.
Slightly, though.
So then I think that takes us to self-caused, unless
Right.
I'm mistaken.
The fifth and final one is whether or not
Self-created.
It's self-created, and the law treats this one as having the least weight, because many variances are
self-
self-created.
and like
And
this
if you
one is.
found that it is self-created,
Without
it need not be dispositive on your deliberation, you can
They're-
still look past that.
Their choice to maximize the envelope for the building instead of, and kick the dumpster out of that envelope.
Yes.
Obviously, it is a hardship to have self-created.
Do you want to go around, or?
Yeah, let's finish the round since this is the way we've been going at it.
It's a self-created hardship?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, sure it is, but they always are.
Right.
So
That's why the law gives you that
unless
carve-out.
That's what we're
unless
here
the
for.
variance arose from an aspect of the law having been changed, it's almost certain to be
A couple of times
self-caused.
it's happened where it wasn't a self-created, but
Right.
you're right.
It's pretty rare. Okay, so
We've addressed all five at least.
having worked our way through the five-part test, and now we can consider whether or not we are looking at the least variance that one could come up with in this circumstance. Okay, do we have a motion from anybody now that we've worked our way through? We've given it good good consideration and worked our way through the five-part balancing test. Does anybody want to make a motion on this?
We first need to close the public hearing.
That's why we're asking for if anybody makes a motion. If somebody was to suggest a motion for a vote, we remind them that we first have to close the public
Yeah.
hearing. But if somebody wants to make a motion.
Are
for
we,
close-
are we in a position to do that? Does anyone want to?
Any more
to?
discussion or
or-
anything else?
Okay.
Want to talk about, so.
So shall we close the public hearing and we'll have a motion? Is someone prepared to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Elizabeth has a motion. All right. So I first off, then let me move to that we close the public hearing. Do I have a second? Thank you, Dan. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the public hearing is closed. Elizabeth, you want to make a motion with respect to this variance?
I would make a motion to grant the variance.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Jim. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so, Mr. Weinberg,
So much.
you have your variance.
I want to remind everybody, it's a dumpster.
That's all it is.
Oh, now you cannot
It's a
steal,
container
you
of
cannot
trash.
steal another guy's material. Okay, now, but now we're still not quite done because I think we do need an amended application in order to show that Mr. Weinberg is not just getting a variance from the law as stated, but from the setbacks. And we have to express just which setbacks he's getting variances for. Is that not so?
I think so we've clarified that. You and I discussed that at the beginning of the meeting, and I agree with you, and I still
Yeah.
agree with you. However,
Yeah.
I do, you are showing on sheet 2 of the plan the dimensions that we were talking about, but can you just amend, well, here's what I would propose. Since you voted to approve, I'm gonna write up the written decision for the May meeting,
Yes.
right? Prior to you'd have to give, there'd be a short turnaround on this.
Yeah.
But can you just submit an amended application to Madam Secretary so that it would show that your rear yard variance is 35 feet and the side yard variance is 45 feet? You see what I'm saying? Just call out the numbers.
To express the
Right.
difference in the rear and side yard setbacks in terms of the feet from what the law would require.
Correct.
So it's explicitly,
It's on the plan.
So
You
it's
corrected that for us. So I missed that, so that is on sheet 2 of the plan.
You need it on the application. you're saying.
Correct, in words.
Mr. Chairman?
so that it's explicitly stated in the application. That's what we're talking about.
Correct, the
doing.
written
I
material.
can get that to you. I'll be in
Correct.
touch with you to get the exact language.
Correct. Get that right
Yeah.
away for us so we
I
can include it
absolutely
in the
will.
agenda packet for the next meeting.
I just do apologize. I'm my babysitter for my kids. So.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, so I will definitely get that all to you. I do want to thank you all. Appreciate you granting us the approval
The decision will be circulated
at the May meeting.
for the May meeting.
Yeah, perfect.
This is the second time I heard that condo,
Commercial.
Thank you so much. Have a great
You're most welcome, Mr. Weinberg. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Weinberg.
Okay, so, that is, yeah,
So,
our third item.
we're gonna be able to see out of curiosity, we're gonna see a copy of that decision online before next meeting, or we'll see that? Problem.
I could circulate, I'll give it to the chairman and then I think it was.
You would always get a chance to look at the decision before it goes out. So that's just Yeah. You should know that, Dan. How long have you been on the
I
board?
just want to make sure
Okay.
we're gonna get a chance. Because
Okay.
sometimes it happens where there's a lot of back and forth, especially in situations like this where it's not complete, where the applicant has to do some minor adjustments, and it goes back and forth, and we
Yeah.
don't see it until the
Yeah.
night of the.
Okay, fair enough.
It's happened
But
many
I think we're going to ensure that everybody gets a
fast
chance to
turnaround.
look at the decision and speak to any concerns that they may have.
All done.
Okay, so that's item 3. We have meeting minutes from March 10. I hope everybody has had a chance to have a look at
I didn't bother.
at our outstanding minutes prepared by our outstanding secretary. Has everybody gotten a chance to look at the minutes? And are we in a position to accept these minutes?
Just there's I think the date error on number 2 relative to 15 Park Avenue, where it says the Deputy Chairman Gilstrap to adjourn to 4/7. It's for,
414.
Man, that 4/7,
Way.
it's a dumpster.
all right, now look, we're expecting some new material, John. Okay, so we got to make that tweak for sure. Anything else that anyone sees? Okay, thank you, Jim. Elizabeth, anything
Oh,
about the
fine, thank you.
minutes?
So does anybody want to make a motion to approve it? If you have anything you want to.
Larry, anything about
No, nothing.
minutes? Can
Nothing.
we accept these minutes?
Yes.
Okay, does anyone want to make a motion about these minutes?
A motion
To,
to approve.
do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Jim. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, very good. We'll accept these minutes with, I think, the correction of the date from 4/7 to 4/14, and one abstention from Dan. Okay. That takes us to old business. Our first old business item was the 59 Gilbert Street application that we received. I stopped in at the building department the other day and asked if they had received any communication from the applicant about 59 Gilbert Street. My understanding as of our last meeting was that the applicant was going to approach the building department, and then that we would perhaps see a decision out of the building department. And I was advised that the building department has not heard from this applicant. Mark.
I spoke with the attorney today.
Excellent.
And I think after our last, or right before our last meeting. I think that's where you got some of, that context was from me as well.
Yeah. Tell us,
John,
what did you learn?
I spoke with John today. The ball is in his client's court to communicate directly with the building inspector. He said he hadn't heard from him either. He's going to reach out to him. So
Okay,
that kind of tracks with what you're saying.
So I think then nothing for us on 59
No.
Gilbert Street at this time, and we will await further developments. Our second item of old business is 546 Route 17M, and I spoke to the building department about this one as well. It's my understanding that this one has gone to the planning board and is being taken up as a special use permit application. And so I think that this one is not coming to us, at least not in the form that it came to us initially.
So I had spoken to the engineer, Mr. White, who was here today. I spoke
Right,
with him
same
earlier.
gentleman we just
Same
were
gentleman.
discussing with.
Spoke
Yeah.
with him earlier on this application. He confirmed that. They went back and the building department reissued their determination that it would be in fact a special use permit that does fit under the existing zoning. It was not a use
Right.
variance. So the
So-
use variance is being withdrawn.
Right. So this application then is not coming to us at all. And Elena, we did discuss there is a check floating about that perhaps Mr. Weinberg or someone attached to the case could come and retrieve. And you were going to, I think, communicate with the applicant about that.
Yes, I
right?
can reach out to them tomorrow.
That would be great. Thank you for that. So I think that takes care of Route 546, Route 17M. I am not aware of any further new business apart from the appointments that I mentioned earlier. Do we have any other new business to announce to everybody?
No.
Dan, yes?
I know this is random, way out there, and I don't know why I'm thinking about it. How often do we get our IDs redone? 'Cause I remember-
You know, I don't know the answer to that, but I
almost
think
seems like
it
it's
happened
random, like it's
fairly recently,
right,
though,
it's-
so
It's like wondering what
if,
to.
if you're looking to
never
expand
had-
your collection, I think you may have to wait a little
I still
while.
haven't gotten a new picture because I wasn't able to make it when they decided. So I'm just curious, how often is it? I mean, it seems like it's random. Like the last couple of times, it was like, you know,
I can get an answer for you.
I was just curious.
Yeah, I can reach out to you once I know.
2 years.
Okay.
I've been on there 20 years, and we've only had it done twice. So, but the first one was like, you know, and then all of a sudden, 5 years later, it's like. the second
So
one's like, what
it
the-
might be,
You know, it's like it's
Yeah.
random.
so, yeah,
I
if
can
you
get
can
that
take that
answer.
up, that would be great.
Just curious.
Okay. Any other new business from other members? No. Okay, then I have reached
Motion to adjourn.
the end of my agenda. Thank you, Dan. Do I have a second to adjourn? Thank you, Elizabeth. All in favor?
I
Aye.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Oh, by the way, I'd like to applaud John's first